Yo, what's up everybody, it's Fright and let's talk about Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, made in 1998. This is the movies like Bride of Chucky, The Faculty, and The Waterboy were made. Yes, I had to put the movie that had Bobby Boucher in that bit. Plus, it's the year your boy was born. The movie's about Fred and the gang getting back together after years of not speaking to go to Louisiana and uncover the mystery behind the supposed ghost of Morgan Moonscar, but encounter something much more. From what I understand, the general reception of the film is that people that like this movie love the darker tone, the setting of Louisiana, and love that Zombie Island breaks the mold and actually makes the zombies real instead of a person in a mask. On the other hand, some people who didn't like the film said that the voice acting was a bit shaky, especially Shaggy. The movie didn't follow the tried and true formula, and it was too scary for kids. Now, if you haven't been here before, what I'm gonna do is recap the movie, give my thoughts and opinions in between, and then end it off with a tier list that will be keeping track of throughout the entire year. Now let's stop playing and solve another mystery. The movie starts off with the gang in the castle attempting to solve another mystery. After a chase scene and a close call or two, the monster is caught, revealing him to be a real estate agent that was
printing millions of counterfeit dollars in the basement with his printing press.
Alright, Vilma, don't go around with that interrupting shit again. I'll let you get away with it in The Witch's Ghost. I won't let you do that again. Anyways, the solved mystery ends up being a story told by Daphne as she's interviewed on TV about her upcoming show, Coast to Coast. Daphne got tired of the same old, but misses the old gang, even though Fred is her low-key lover and producer on the show. As Scooby and Shaggy observed the interview during an airport shift, they seem to share the same reaction. If I didn't know any better, I would say they're TSA or some type of food security, but they aren't employed for long, getting fired right after eating all the contraband. Yet out of another job. On the other side of town, Velma's running her own bookstore, which makes sense. She begins reminiscing about the good old days just as the call comes through. It's the homie Fred. He got in contact with her, Shaggy, and Scooby to surprise Daphne for her birthday. They're going to ride with them through the states trying to find a real haunted house. They have a heartwarming reunion, especially if you're a Scooby Doo fan. The crew back together again, make their way to Louisiana. Wait, before they leave, they gotta get this mystery van right.
Hold it, there's just one more thing.
Okay, now they're on their way to Louisiana, making their way through the various legends and haunted areas along the way. After a brief montage, the crew stops at a local market trying to figure out where they'll go next. Daphne is feeling defeated because the feeling is too much like the good old days when she has a show to run. This is when they're encountered by Lena, a cook that actually works at a real haunted house on Moonscar Island. Y'all gotta watch how Fred treats Daphne throughout this whole movie. It's almost subtle how much of an asshole he is. He's quick to introduce himself and the ladies, and after some skepticism from the group, Lena talks them into going to Moonscar Island. The crew load up following Lena down the road as far as the bike will take them, and meet another character, Jacquees. As he takes everyone across the water, Scooby falls overboard trying to get a catfish. Shaggy falls in with them and the alligators make their way to him with hunger in their eyes. The two swim away, almost getting caught but get saved by Crocodile Dundee and his fighting pig Mojo. He looks and acts suspicious as hell, but trust me fellas, he's not important in this movie. After Scooby and Shaggy get on the main boat, the crew makes it to land, getting to Moonscar Island. Then following Lena down the bumpy trail, finally getting to the house that's supposedly haunted. Scooby ain't messing with the cats, chasing them into Miss Noir. Lena talks her down for being upset and mentions the hauntings that they've been experiencing. After some back and forth, Miss Lenoir allows the crew to come inside as long as they keep Scooby calm around the cats. I should take this time to say that there's another character, which is the gardener. His name is Bo. He acts suspiciously suspicious. Now at this point, Scooby and Shaggy go to the kitchen while the rest of the crew make their way to the living room. The two friends get a chill in the air and try to warm themselves up by eating some raw Louisiana peppers. They don't even get time to as the ghostly apparition writes "get out" on the wall. This causes the rest of the crew to rush to the kitchen. Velma starts to levitate off the ground without explanation. Scooby ends up breaking her fall as the crew replays the footage. They freeze frame the shot and see that the ghost of Morgan Moonscar was actually being the one to write those messages on the wall. Velma goes back to the spot to see if there's any other clues she can get. She ends up using a spatula to scrape off the paint, and as soon as she's in motion, Lena comes around the corner asking what the hell's going on. Velma tells her along with the rest of the group that the name revealed behind the paint is the Maelstrom, which was the name of Morgan Moonscar's pirate ship. Back with Scooby and Shaggy, they're busy grubbing at a picnic, but as soon as Scooby reaches for some potato salad, he sees these dirty ass cats in his food and decides to chase them. Shaggy chases them too. Shaggy has to stop and hit a lick on some of these peppers though, because of course they're too good of an opportunity to pass up.
Oh man, I can't pass up a hot opportunity like this.
After Scooby messes up one of Crocodile Dundee's fishing setups, Mojo starts to chase him and catches up to Shaggy too. The two end up getting chased into a ditch, falling in and being stuck there for a while until the zombie of Morgan Moonscar comes back to life. Scooby and Shaggy finesse their way out the ditch, running away until they bump into Bo. Seconds later, the gang shows up and they're asking about the screaming. Scooby and Shaggy take them to the place where they're just out, and of course, nothing's there. Bo gets questioned about the hole he dug up, but brushes it off, walking away suspicious, which Velma picks up on immediately. quickly. As the sun begins to set, Miss Lenoir suggests that the group spends the night. The crew agrees and gets settled into their rooms while also getting ready for dinner. As Shaggy is looking in the mirror, an apparition appears reaching out saying, "Stay away," causing them to rush into Fred's room terrified. The group gets back inside the room investigating until Velma looks at the back of the mirror, uncovering that the ghost was actually a Confederate soldier that died on the property. Lena breaks the exposition by getting everyone downstairs for dinner, except for Scooby. He can't eat at the table, so him and Shaggy have to go out to the van to eat some crawfish. I'm not gonna lie, Scooby would have had to eat outside after he took all the crawfish like that. That wouldn't do any good though because of all the cats out there. There's so many out there that Shaggy drives out so Scooby won't crash out. Back at the dining room, Fred is having a great time with Lena's pie while Daphne reminds me of my aunt.
Hey, we should do a segment on Lena's pecan pie, Daff. It's supernatural.
You are so corny.
The group springs into action as soon as they hear Scooby and Shaggy scream. Lena tells Fred and nobody else to be careful. Alright with your smiley ass. Get on, Fred. You don't want Daphne to suplex you like a thief in the elevator. The crew walks through the woods running into Bo. Daphne volunteers to split up with him, but that's an awful idea, so Velma decides to step up and be Bo's partner as they split up. The two walk through the woods in search of Scooby and Shaggy. Bo takes his time to confront Velma about treating him like he's a suspect. She doesn't hold back on him, saying that he is a suspect. Bo grabs the rock and tosses it in her direction so she can realize that there's quicksand in front of her. I'm not sure why he couldn't just say anything. It's probably because Velma wouldn't listen to him anyway. On the other side of the forest, Fred and Daphne had a little back and forth about Lena and Bo while looking through the van. As they're going on, this zombie tries to get the jump on Daphne but gets cooked. Shaggy was in the bushes too at the same time, getting yoinked out by Daphne. Fred and Daphne don't believe the zombie is real, pulling on his head thinking it's a mask. Fred takes his turn accidentally ripping its head off. Now Fred could have dropped it, but he tosses the head in Daphne's direction, which then leads to everyone touching the head. The wind starts to blow like Lance Stevenson and lightning starts to strike into the water, causing the zombies to rise. Fred trips and drops the camera, losing all the footage they got since they've been there. But the camera is the least of their worries as they get chased throughout the forest with what I think is Scooby Doo's best soundtrack. I'm not sure if I can show y'all the song, but what I will do is sing that mofo. Cause it's terror time again. It's terror time again. I'm not gonna bless y'all with these vocals right now. Maybe later. But anyways, running away from the undead, Scooby and Shaggy fall into a cave, coming across these wax dolls that oddly resemble Bo and their friend. They play with the dolls, not knowing that on the other side of the forest, the gang is mimicking each movement the dolls are making. Scooby and Shaggy's playtime is ended by a flock of bats, causing them to drop the dolls and skedaddle out of there. This makes the group on the other side gain control of their bodies again and slides to the mansion. Fred falls through a secret stairwell into Lena's arms.
Fred, are you all right?
Yeah. Thanks.
Lena cooks up some story that doesn't sound believable to anybody but Fred. They walk through this creepy ass cave, get into this weird ritual room. Well, at this point, the cat's out of the bag, no pun intended. Miss Lenoir and Lena were playing the crew the entire time. They freeze the group in place by using these wax dolls, then turn into these cat-like creatures and tell the crew that they've been feeding on humans for centuries to preserve their immortality. During the flashback, it's revealed that some time ago, Morgan Moonscar and his men chased Lena and Miss Lenoir's entire town into gator-infested waters. The two barely got away with their lives, but they did, and they're praying to what I'm guessing is a cat god to curse the pirates. The two prayed and gained cat-like powers, then took revenge on the pirates. It turns out Lena and Miss Lenoir have a long list of bodies on them, because in another flashback it shows them awakening during another harvest moon, taking out these spice traders in the worst way. It's also revealed that the zombies are the bodies of the people they've drained over the years. Them and the ghosts have been trying to warn the crew off the island the entire time. I mean, they could have made that a little clearer, but the zombies do come in clutch when we catch up with Scooby and Shaggy running away from the transformed Jock. They subdue them while Scooby and Shaggy get away. The two trip and fall into the cave, crashing into Miss Lenoir and Lena. This angers them and causes the two to power up like they're turning Super Saiyan. They catch up to Scooby and Shaggy. As they start to drain Scooby and Shaggy's life force, Velma gets herself and the crew out of being tied up. She then uses some magic wax with a few adjustments. Her and Daphne start slinging their ass like rag dolls. This gives the crew just enough time to survive the onslaught as the harvest moon ends. And since the three didn't suck some of that young juice out of that crew, not only do they turn to dust, but the zombies do too.
Thank you.
In another turn of events, Bo reveals that he was the detective the entire time trying to find out the cause of the disappearances. The movie ends as Daphne offers Bo an interview spot on TV and the crew riding back on the ferry into the sunset, happily ever after, having solved another mystery. Alright homies, that was the end of Scooby Doo and Zombie Island, my favorite Scooby Doo movie besides the live action version. The whole story of the group breaking up because of regular life getting in the way and then getting back together years later to solve another mystery always sat well with me. It's like those friends that you don't see for a minute, but when you do, it's like y'all never left. Now, I have seen some people complain about the voice acting, especially Shaggy, which I couldn't disagree any more than I already do. I felt like everyone played their roles to a T and I had no complaints when it came to how the voice actors portrayed the characters. The villains in the movie are as fierce as they come when it comes to Scooby Doo. They actually gave the crew what they were looking for and actually gave them a challenge creating stakes that I haven't seen in another Scooby Doo movie besides the live action film, which almost has the same plot as this one. Everything Witch's Ghost does, Zombie Island does twice as good. And the only reason I say that is because of how much I love that movie. From the awesome soundtrack to the interesting side characters and overall plot between the main cast is timeless, which sets it apart from not only other Scooby Doo movies, but animation films in general, which lands this at a Fright delight for me. Now, since this is an animated movie, there won't be a survivor tier list, but I will let you know my favorite characters outside the main cast, which might be a cop-out, but fuck it, it's Bo. He's a detective looking into disappearances, but makes himself look the most suspicious in the first place, which is kind of funny to me. Plus, he makes Fred's hypocrite ass jealous, which is kind of funny too.
And what about Bo?
What about him?
So those are my thoughts on Scooby Doo and Zombie Island, a movie that you can honestly throw on and have a great time any day of the week, especially in October. If you have an extra hour and a half, this movie will be time well spent, and if you have kids, I think it'll be even better. Well homies, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for making it this far. Let me know what you thought about Scooby Doo and Zombie Island in the comments below, even if you disagree with me. And if you enjoyed this video and have any movies that you want me to cover in the future, put that in the comments below too. Please like and subscribe to see more reviews like this one. I appreciate y'all coming to a Fright Delight, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.